Welcome to Femme Parler Podcast, where we are unpacking opinions and changing destinations. I am your host, Sherley, where each week we will chat about how to rise strong out of all types of obstacles that come with relationships. Through personal life experiences and discussions ranging from infidelity, trust, forgiveness, sex, heartbreak, self-love, and so much more. I am passionate and obsessed to provide guidance to every woman to create a better life. Let's dive in, pull up a seat, make sure you're cozy, and get ready to be challenged and encouraged while you learn. With me, your virtual girlfriend.
Y'all just let sex rule your lives.
It's necessary.
Not for me.
So what you're telling me, you could be with someone?
Yeah, just get it on there.
Okay. Well, we're already recording. I have to start though. So, okay. You ready?
Yes.
Is your anxiety good?
No, but come on, let's get it started. Oh my God. Where my phone at?
I don't know where you set it down.
At? Oh, okay.
All right. Welcome back to Femme Parler, where we're going to continue part 2. What does marriage mean from the point of view of a single woman, even though the woman is in a complicated relationship? So where we left off in part 1, we left off saying we were talking about, is communication more important than sex in a relationship? And Keisha said that communication was more important to her than sex. So Keisha, can you please explain to us why you feel as though communication is more important than sex for you, and elaborate so we can understand.
Sure. Well, I do think communication is more important than sex, because how can I have a good sex life if the communication is not good with my partner? Sex, I like to say I make love, not have sex with my partner, because we're supposed to be in love and all that kind of fancy stuff. But I can't get into it if we aren't on good terms. If we're having problems and we're not fixing those problems, I just can't get into it. So I guess I'm a person that works mostly on emotions. I need to always feel secure in our relationship. If I don't feel secure in our relationship, then sex for me is nothing.
Okay, so I understand your viewpoint. I did mention to you in part 1 that I had 6 characteristics in a relationship that are important to me. The 6 characteristics that I have found that are important are trust, respect, consistency, communication, loyalty, and sacrifice. Now, sex is not in there for me. Sex is important more than communication. Why? Because it is important that there is a good sexual compatibility with the person that I plan on spending the rest of my life with. When I say sex is more important than communication, how I look at it is communication important? Yes, it is. Sex to me is more important than communication, only because you can have great communication with somebody and lousy sex. And to me, if I'm going to spend the rest of my life with you, sexual compatibility is extremely important. Now, I had discussed this on a last episode, and, a sexologist may say, well, you can train them, or even not a sexologist, other people, just random people may say, you can always train somebody on how to make love to you, or, where your spots are and all that stuff. But with me, there's only a certain amount of training I'm going to do. You should know how to handle the equipment that was given to you, and it should properly be compatible with me. There's a limited amount of training I'm willing to do. So when I say sex is more important than communication, that's what I mean. I feel before we get to the sex, we should have already established that communication. Sometimes that doesn't necessarily always happen. But if the sexual compatibility is there, I can work with the communication. Why? Because we're 2 different people. My partner now, his communication skills, even after all these years, we're still working on it. It's not at its best. I'm more of a talker when it comes to communicating in our relationship than he is. He likes to talk, but when it's time to talk about relationship stuff, he has this like, oh my God, I'm in an uncomfortable feeling. I can't do this. So I always have to be the one to coach through the conversation. And, we have good communication skills, but we're still working on it. So that's after all these years. But the sex, I won't complain.
Okay, so are you saying that you guys could have an argument and then you can just go right to having sex with him? Like, you don't have to settle the argument or anything. It's just, okay, we're going to do the do now, whatever, however. And that's that.
It depends on what the argument is. Have we ever had an argument and then had makeup sex? Yes, we had.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I've done that, but I'm just talking about, like, if any given day, if me and my partner is having some type of argument, we're not getting along or something, and it hasn't been settled and we go to bed and he expects to get some goodies, it's not happening. Because in my mind, I need to be, I don't know what's the word for it, but we need to settle that before I get into that. Because if we have sex, I'm not going to be into it.
Gotcha.
I'm just going to be totally out of it. And you mentioned something about, what was that you mentioned? I can't even remember. Right.
Sexual compatibility?
Well,
teaching them?
Well, not the part about teaching them, but sexual compatibility. For me, it's more like if I'm in love with you, it feels a different way. It's just something different for me. Like I make it work. I can make it work. So that's all I can say. Like I make it work because it's more so I'm in my feelings than just having sex with a random person or whatever. So I'm in my feelings and I make it work. And then sometimes you just got to get your own stuff off anyway. So
what do you mean by you make it work? So you'll please yourself and not have sex with your partner?
No. That's not what I mean by that. No, I'm not sure I'd rather use the dildos and toys. I'm not sure I'd rather do that. But I just make it work. Like like I'm just saying, I'm not saying this is my partner, but just say he's a smaller person and gosh, this is sounding so X-rated.
It's okay. We're mature here.
And you're having sex or whatever. Like my feelings for him will look past that. And then I guess it's different things that we both can do. I know you mentioned something about training them and letting them know where your spot is and all of that. But it's things that I think that I can do in order to get past all of that.
So what I'm understanding is example that you're giving is that if the communication is on point and everything else is on point, even if he has a small penis that doesn't sexually satisfy you, you're willing to look past this.
Yes, I am.
Wow.
I am.
Very interesting.
I think.
You think?
Yes. I mean, I'm not saying I've dealt with this, but I'm just thinking that this is how I feel because I'm so into the guy and we're making love and he loves me. I love him. I feel secure in this relationship and he's the only one I'm going to be with. So I'm going to make it work and I'm not going to have sex with somebody not to please myself. So I'm going to make sure I'm going to have pleasure out of it and I'll let him, he'll be pleasure too, I guess.
Oh my gosh, this is so interesting. I'm interested to hear what the feedback's going to be and if there's other women such as yourself that's willing to accept
And you know what? I shouldn't even say the communication because I know some men have a problem communicating. So I'm really saying if there's an issue going on between me and my partner. So if we're having problems that day, that week that we haven't settled, then that would make things a little difficult for me and I'm not sleeping with him.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I think we've all been there. I've had days where, like in our relationship, he is the initiator. He is the initiator 90% of the time. And when I say he's not like this big, romantic candle type of person. Not that type of initiator. He's just your basic initiator. And, we know when it's going to happen. He might, I feel like I shouldn't say he always asks, but respectfully, yeah, he does ask. I guess it's he doesn't ask. I shouldn't say it that way because you kind of know. It's hard when you're in a relationship, you kind of know when it's going to go down, but don't you get that sense for the day?
Well, yeah, you get that sense, but you know what I would rather do, and I know nobody's going to agree with me. I would rather schedule it Because I'm so busy. And
no.
The thing is, I've read about it, like other people who do this, like on different blogs and stuff, like they'll schedule sex once a week with their mate and stuff. And I'm okay. Once a week is cool with me. I know some people be like, oh, I need 3 times a week and blah, blah, blah. No, I don't need it all that time. Once a week, even if you want to do it once every 2 weeks, I'm cool with that. But I know people not going to agree with it, but once a week is good for me, and I would rather know about it so that I could prepare myself. I know that sounds crazy.
No, it doesn't sound crazy because I don't have a crazy, like, rabid sexual drive. So I'm totally okay with the once a week. I don't see anything wrong with that, even every 2 weeks. The scheduling, we've never scheduled in advance. The most scheduling we've done is like that morning he may say, you know what's happening tonight. I mean, this is what I'm talking about, like asking permission. He's not necessarily asking permission. He's just initiating as he normally does, the way that he does. But you're telling me you scheduled sexual activity?
No, I haven't done it, but I don't mind doing it. I would like to.
Have you introduced this to your partners?
I haven't, but I think...
Well, now they're probably going to hear...
But I think this would be a good idea. Let's just schedule it. You know what? I think I did bring it up once, and he's like, what the F? Blah, blah. You know? Like, no man wants to hear that. And then I said once a week, and it's like... Once a week, it's just supposed to happen, and blah, blah, blah. But you know what? Being so busy and having so many things to do, sometimes I just don't want to be bothered. Like, I just need to roll over and go to sleep.
Keisha, you know how I feel about the busy. You use that word so loosely.
Yes, but I be busy. I be tired. Like, if you're working all day, then you go to the second job, then you take care of the bad behind kids. Aren't you tired? I am tired.
I'm tired too. I understand what it means to be busy, but I feel like your life is in control of you and you're not in control of your life. And as your friend, I'm telling you, that's because I know. See, the listeners don't know. I know your schedule is ridiculous.
It is.
I mean, I'm your son's mother. Who is picking him up from school?
Say you're my mother.
No, I'm your son's mother. I'm the one that was picking him up from school.
Yes, and I told you he can move in at any time.
No,
so.
I don't need an extra.
I'm sure the kids would love it. Well, not the girl, but the boy would love it.
The boy would love it. The girl, he already
said
he's
probably like, no, Mom.
No, he said she's so mean to me. She's so mean to me. But scheduling sex is a new one. That's interesting. I've never done that, and I have no plans on doing that. I don't think you're the only one
who's thought of this because I got it from somebody else.
Oh, I don't think there are women out there that type of personality where that's something that they want scheduled, which it's hard because what if when that day comes you're not in the mood? What if you get your period? Then what?
Oh, we're gonna have to reschedule.
Wow.
Yes, let's just reschedule for another time.
Wow. Okay.
But I can tell you, sex for me isn't really a big issue. Like, if you love me, if you cuddle with me, I am so cool. If you talk nice to me, like, we cool.
Okay.
That's all I need.
Who has always been the initiator in your relationship? Are you the initiator?
No, I'm not the initiator.
You're not? Okay. All right. So, I get you. I'm not the initiator either. And then when I do initiate, it's such a long process that he has to mentally prepare. Because I need to, like, set the mood. We need to, like, cook dinner together or be watching a movie together. And then slowly into that process. Him initiating is just like, you know what's going down tonight.
Let's get it done.
Yeah, you know, let's go, about an hour before it happens. You getting in the shower first or I'm getting in the shower? How are we doing this? This is what I mean by initiating. Where me, it's like a whole ordeal. And he has to like now prepare because he knows, okay.
You know, my partner is like that. Like, I think he feels like he has to have everything just right. He's like, I make love to you. I don't have sex with you. And me, I'm like, hurry up. Let's get this done. I got to start work.
You don't verbally say that.
Sometimes I guess he can tell from my body language. Like, sometimes I do say it.
He
like,
probably
if it's in the morning and I gotta start work, like, come on, like, we got to get this done. It's like another chore.
What? Oh, well, oh my gosh. She says it's another chore. Sex shouldn't be a chore, Keisha. Sex should be a pleasurable thing. Now, everybody has their days. There are days.
I just want to cuddle. Why can't we just sit and cuddle and he just say sweet things
because
to me?
Sex is necessary. You can still
Why
cuddle
is
and you
sex
could do
necessary?
sex is necessary in
No.
a relationship. And I know you like to use the word making love. And yes, when two people are in love with each other, I do agree with you. It is making love. You're not just having sex. Sex is the formal word for it, but you're making love to your partner. You're not just what the inappropriate term would be, fucking them.
Yeah.
You're not just doing that. Yeah. So I understand and respect about the making love, but I think you need to reevaluate this whole situation about let's just get it done and get it over with, because obviously, no, hopefully he doesn't hear this conversation, because girl, you're going to be in deep poo-poo. Because let's just get this done. It should never be that way. You're becoming complacent, even in your, with your partner. No, you're not even sexually happy. And you're like mentally tricking him.
I am okay. I am sexually happy. I just don't need to
deal
do it
with
on a
what
regular basis.
You deal with
I don't
what
want
you're
to
getting.
deal with it on a regular basis. It's a lot of work.
Regular? What's regular mean to you? Just once a week? That's it and no more?
Once a week is fine with me.
No, once a week
doesn't
sound
fine. But when you start wanting like 3 times and stuff, that's a lot.
Well, I wouldn't say it's a lot.
Like,
to each their own.
I got business plans and stuff like that. I need to stay up to research stuff on the internet and write out business plans and this and that. And, that interferes with that time.
Oh, you're too funny. Okay. So, let's see. Should women get married assuming a man will take care of them?
No, they should not. Like, we need to be independent on our own without the help of a man. I mean, it's nice to have a man as a partner, but you need to have your own stuff, because how many relationships really work out and last forever? I don't know a lot of them, especially in this day and age. So I think that the woman needs to get herself in check first. Or even if she's into a marriage or whatever, if she's not well established, she needs to get there while she's in that marriage, just in case something happens.
Okay.
Because you never know. You just never know.
I do agree with you. Now, back in the old times, the man was always the
different.
provider and the woman stays home. Things have drastically changed now because everybody is providing now.
Yeah.
Now when you have a very independent female, a female that works, do you believe, as the alpha females that we are, that the man should be the sole provider? Or do you feel as though things should be split, or the person who makes more money should take on more responsibilities? Or is it to each their own? It's hard to say, because it just depends on the structure of the relationship, or base it off of your experience.
Well, in a perfect world, I would like my man to handle all the bills, and the money that I make from my jobs, I would just stack it or do whatever I want with it. That's how I would want it. But realistically speaking, that usually doesn't happen. So I am good with splitting. I'm working, he's working, we all are working. So this isn't the old days, because if that's the case, he might say, okay, so I want you barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen or something like that. And I don't want any ties like that. So I think we should just split it.
Okay. And have your thought process always been that way, or has now, as a more mature woman, as opposed to the younger Keisha might have thought, no, he needs to do this, you've always thought this way?
Yeah, I've always thought this way.
Okay.
Yeah, I know a lot of my friends, like growing up, when we were younger, some of the girls wanted a guy that would take care of them and had a lot of money and buy them all this stuff. But I always saw it as, what can I not do for myself that a man can do? So I just make sure that I'm able to do everything for myself, so I won't have to depend on anybody else for it.
I've always thought of it that way too. One thing about me is I think because my mother has always been working and handling her own, even though my father has been in the picture, that also that paved the way for me. I've never had the mindset where I feel like my man needs to provide and he needs to pay all the bills. Would it be, if he offered, would I say no? I would not say no, but I would make sure I have a good nest egg in case anything was to happen, because, you never know. He may lose his job.
Right.
I mean, this is the reality of the situation here. That's why I feel like women always need to, even if you're a stay-at-home mom, I'm very supportive of that, but you should always have a security blanket.
What if your man told you he wants you to quit your job and just stay home full time? Would you do it?
That's a hard question to answer, because the type of woman I am, I can't.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do that. So the man that I get with, I don't think would ever ask me that question, because he knows. I mean, don't tell me to quit my job. Tell me you'll handle everything. That's fine. Okay. I don't have a problem with that. But you're telling me to quit my job, and you know me, I'm going to be like, and for what reason? What is your underlying reason for having me to quit your job? Because immediately my mind goes to control.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Immediately I'm in the control mindset of, this person is really trying to get a strong hold of me. Now, I know every woman don't think like that. And some women may be like, what? I'm all for it. Me, I see red alert, red flags all over the place. And I'm like, this is not good. This dynamic is not good, because if anybody's going to quit their job, that's going to be a choice that I make.
Right.
I don't need you to help influence that choice for me. So immediately I would go into control, but maybe that's just the wrong mindset to have, because of course there's two ways of looking at it. Some women may look at it as like, that's a great thing if a man doesn't want you to work. And me, I'm like, what's so great about it? I immediately think you're just trying to handle everything, take control of the finances, and put me on some type of budget.
Yeah, because he would have to give you the money. Like, okay, you would say, I want to go shopping. So he would have to give you his credit card, or you would use your credit card and he would have to pay the bill. And then it's like, he know too much about what's going on now.
And I think, I guess if we had to go deeper into the conversation, if right off the bat a man tells me that, it would be a red flag for me. If we've been together for years, if Khalif was to say that to me, well, no, I can't even say that, because if Khalif was to say that to me now, no, I'm not quitting my job. So I guess it's still a no. It doesn't matter how new the relationship is or how old it is for me. I am not quitting my job, because to me, that's a red flag, and that means control for me. And I just don't want it. I don't want it. If I am going to quit my job, it's going to be a unanimous decision that is made. And it obviously must be pertaining to some issue, such as maybe the children, or, maybe the dynamic of my partner's job takes him away, and I need to be home for the children. There has to be a strong underlying reason why I'm just quitting my job. And if I do decide to do that, I guarantee you it'll be temporary. And I'm working on figuring out how to get a part-time job or doing something that can work around the family schedule.
Gotcha.
So based on your relationship status now, you made a comment to me off air. And I know on part 1, you said you're in a relationship, but it's complicated. And of course, the title of this is Marriage from the Point of View of a Single Woman. And because it's marriage from a point of view as a single woman, you see yourself as a single woman because you're not married. Can you explain that to me? So what does your relationship mean to you? So are you in an open relationship?
No, I'm not in an open relationship. We are in a relationship with each other exclusively. However, I just use the term single because I'm not married. Like, if he was to pass away tomorrow, I would not be entitled to anything. That's not true. He does have me on his life insurance. But,
So from a legal standpoint, yes, when you fill your taxes out, when you file your, when you do your taxes, yes, you're single. You're absolutely right. It's either single, or if you're living alone, you're probably head of household. Regardless, those are the two options that you have. So I get it. But then there are still married people that file separately. But I guess because you're not married, you see yourself as single. But when you're out and about, you definitely broadcast that you're in an exclusive relationship. It's not an open situation. You don't tell the general public you're single. It's just on paperwork you're single.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, I mean, it's not for me to, and I mean, I don't broadcast anything. Like, my business is my business.
Yes.
But if another guy was to approach me or try to talk to me, I'll be like, I'm with somebody.
Oh, okay.
Something like that. But,
all right. So we are going to end part 2 of Femme Parler with marriage from the point of view of a single woman. And Keisha, before we end today, what just last minute advice or tip that you want to offer, I guess, women who are single, women who are in a complicated relationship, or what advice do you want to offer them when they're thinking about marriage, considering marriage, on the cusp of marriage, either?
Well, I think my answer is going to be the same for both situations. Don't ever let a man validate who you are. Always remember who you are and what you want. Never sell yourself short because of a man. Because if that man cares about you and loves you and wants to be with you, then he will appreciate you for the person that you are. So when trying to find true love or thinking about marriage, just think about those things.
Okay, gotcha. So with that, we're going to I want to thank you guys for tuning in. And our motto for Femme Naturelle and Femme Parler is love yourself, voice yourself, and be yourself. Until the next episode. Thank you guys. Thanks for tuning in to Femme Parler Podcast. If you want to continue the conversation or share your takeaways, I want to hear from you. Head on over to the website or join our Facebook community and comment your favorite part of the show or share your thoughts. I want to hear what you have to say. Don't forget to rate and subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. Chat with you next week.